The bottom of the funnel is where things start to get a little bit hazy. So we can get all this really clear and clean data in Google Analytics or whatever analytics provider we use through UTM tags and through paid data in general. We can get super great access to all that stuff. But in general, once people fill out the form and they go into the CRM, for a lot of companies, that's pretty much the end of where marketing data happens. It becomes the domain of the salespeople, and everything essentially get lumped in together. So if you had, let's say, um, 100 form submissions, you might know in analytics that 50 of them came from organic and 30 came from paid and 20 came from social. But once they get into the CRM, they all get lumped together as just new leads. And then those new leads have sort of a blanket conversion rate and a blanket, sort of average deal value or something like that. And then you could look back and you say, okay, well, in general, our marketing is either doing well or it's not, without being able to really say, okay, actually, really specifically, our organic push was what led us to 50 of those leads, and not only 50 of those leads, but of the 10 closed won deals we got, 9 came from organic. So the work we did here led to directly to this many closed won deals. Not just this many; these specific closed won deals came from organic. We know this is how they found us. We know what their sort of customer journey looked like, and so we can do that with that type of data. If you have that data in the CRM, you'd be able to say which campaigns, content, keywords, sources, and mediums are the actual revenue drivers. What is, those are your marketing, buzzwords there. Which of those marketing elements are actually driving revenue? Then you can actually go back and say, okay, we're actually optimizing our marketing plan for sales qualified leads or sales accepted leads and not clicks, not just traffic. And then beyond that, we have this amazing workaround we can use, which is to use landing page attribution, which is sort of another sort of similar field to a UTM tag, sort of is more custom. Um, you can use landing page attribution to even say, okay, at the organic level, this is what keywords are really driving organic activity. So this is kind of the content we should be focusing on. This is what Google cares about. This is how we're going to get sort of to that next level of qualified traffic. So this is a beautiful idea. How do we do it? Now we're into the section called mastering data. So we have to make sure when we're thinking about proving the value or the ROI of marketing that we're thinking about the entire funnel. It's too easy to get focused just on the top of the funnel and say to, whatever executive is breathing down your neck that, hey, it's not our fault that the company's not getting a lot of sales. We got a bunch of leads because they're hearing from the sales team. It's not our fault we're not getting a lot of sales. Our leads are no good. So we need to not be thinking just about the top of the funnel, just about the part that sort of belongs to marketing, but instead we need to think about the entire funnel. Um, so from the top half of the funnel, we want our analytics to be really clear. If you're not 100% confident that your analytics is tracking exactly the things that are important and revenue focused for you, give us a call after the webinar, and or let us know in chat, because this is something that is just like absolutely critical at the beginning of all of this. We see a lot of mistaken analytics accounts where there's double conversions, or more commonly conversions tracking, really more commonly no conversions, or conversions being tracked that don't make a lot of sense. So instead of tracking, form submissions or something that's really a high value action item, people are tracking total number of page visits or time on site or something like that, which is a fine thing to track as sort of a second or third level metric, but nowhere near as valuable as the real sort of revenue focused events. So analytics needs to be super clean, super clear. UTM tags, generally we prefer to have a UTM guide. So, for everyone that's dealing with anything outbound, these are the sort of guidelines for setting up UTM tags and should be generally implemented. But last but not least, what you really need to have is attribution data, which allows you to pass all of this analytics level data from the top of the funnel into the CRM so it can be used for the bottom of the funnel. This is how you both prove that the marketing was leading to ROI and also take that feedback back and improve the efficacy of your marketing efforts based on ROI data. So, how does that work? generally we could think about the funnel here as having a gap in the middle of it. So we get all this awesome UTM data or just general analytics data in Google Analytics. We get our sessions, we get our inquiries or our goal submissions or whatever you want to call them. And then there's this big gap where they just get lumped into this big bottom half of the funnel where the salespeople take them from there. Instead, what you can use is something called data attribution, which is we have a sort of custom solution for this. There are other solutions that are available that are great. But the basic idea is you're going to track via cookies and a pixel on your website, specifically where somebody came from, what their UTM parameters were, and then even a few other parameters that are not included in UTMs, like attribution landing page. So what landing page did they arrive in? And then timestamp, which is when did they arrive? When did they actually convert? Because you can actually then use timestamp to do some pretty cool things with sort of modeling out your sales cycle, understanding, okay, well, if somebody filled out a form on this date, they're most likely to close around this time, which can be useful in terms of evaluating your funnel and your pipeline, maybe even making hiring decisions, things like that. So basically what we're looking to do with attribution data is to bridge this gap between sessions and inquiries on the top part of the funnel, and then MQL, SQL, SAL, and closed one on the bottom. So what does this look like? Basically, somebody looks for your page on Google. Let's say that they click on a paid ad, go to your website, they then fill out a form. Let's say that form, I mean, really, if they click the paid ad, you have like attribution properly set up. The UTM parameters are going to be tracked by the attribution pixel anyway. But let's just make sure we've got the UTM parameters in place anyway. They fill out the form on your website, and then eventually they become a closed won deal. In Salesforce, all of that information surrounding their marketing journey, the fact that they came via Google, the fact that they clicked on an AdWords ad, what type of ad, the content, the campaign, all of those things, even what landing page they arrived on, we can look at those in Salesforce or in the CRM and be able to then draw reports from it, and do kind of all of the sort of proving of the value of that ad campaign based on the real hard ROI that came from this particular lead or prospect. So this is pretty cool. And then what it kind of boils down to, and again, we're going to go through some of these reports in a lot more detail today, in lieu of doing our normal live website analyses. So this is basically what you can get. With full funnel, you're able to say something like, not only did marketing contribute directly to all of these leads and this, roughly $7,000 of deal value based on this example here, but you could also say, it also led us to see clearly that Agile software is not a winner. Even though it had 48 leads or form submissions relative to team management software, team management software had 4 closed won deals, whereas Agile had 0. Obviously, we can see that project management or best project management tools is the sort of the best of the best there.